force is strong with this one.
Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows it?
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
You were the chosen one!
I sense much fear in you.
You have been well trained, my young apprentice. They will be no match for you.
Yes, my master.
Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Chance Cubes game commentary videos. As always, it's yours truly, Nate, doing some commentary for this video. As you'll see, the players are shuffling up. You have myself on the left-hand side playing eLeia, ePoe, versus my buddy Chase playing eLeia, eAckbar. Chase has been playing this deck for quite some time now. We've had a couple videos featuring it. It's a mean little deck, and I'm playing the Poe Ray deck that my buddy Scotty had sent over to me to give a shot at. I'm running the Emperor's Throne Room battlefield. I think Chase is running Frozen Waste. I think he forgot to bring his battlefield again for this matchup. But as you'll see, we're shuffling, getting everything ready, and eventually, after I mulligan for 5, I think I draw some cards, and none of them were very helpful, if I remember correctly. Chase mulligan for a couple, and now we're rolling up to see who has initiative. And I roll pretty well for initiative. I rolled, I think, 7 to Chase's not 7. So I have the choice of battlefields here. I think we were talking about which one to take, and since he didn't have one, I decided to just take mine. Especially since it benefits the Poe Ray deck very well. That's what it's trying to do, is it's trying to roll out Poe, get specials, resolve specials for high damage. So we see Chase getting his 2 shields here. He decides to put 1 on each character. That's his go-to split. If he gets shields, he generally will put 1 on each. You'll see that I play out It Binds All Things, and trying to get out a few upgrades for cheaper. Chase throws out a survival gear on eAckbar. It's a great way to gain extra shields. It also has some focus. I play hit and run on Poe here, trying to roll out, get some specials. Instead, I get 2 of the 3-for-1 Poe sides. So if I'd had a little bit more resources, I could have put a hurtin' on one of Chase's characters. Instead, I'm able to resolve 1 of the dice to put 2 damage on eAckbar. 1 was prevented by the shield. Chase activates his eAckbar here, rolling in eAckbar's dice. Looks like he gets a focus side, a shield side, and a range damage side. You also see that 1 of the damage got knocked over by Leia. I think eventually we realized this. I decide to activate Ray. I get 1 discard, and I get her +2 melee side. The +2 melee side is pretty much useless right now. I don't have any other melee damage in the pool. Chase on his Leia gets the 2-for-1 side and the range damage side. I think it's the 1 range damage side. I use the discard from Ray's dice to hopefully thin out some stuff in Chase's hands. And I hit a rearm, which is always a dangerous card in this red deck. It lets Chase pitch low cost upgrades and get them back onto characters for free. So getting rid of 1 of those is not a bad thing. Chase resolves the shield side on survival gear to put some more shields on eAckbar. I discard a willpower in order to reroll, get a blank on Ray, and a resource on Poe. Chase resolves the focus side on eAckbar to turn Leia's side to the 2 damage without having to pay. And I think he's debating on what to turn this last one to. It was a 1 damage side. And he's looking at what's in his hand, trying to decide if he needs a resource, if he'd rather have just straight damage. And he goes with the resource side, which is kind of scary. I gain a resource on Poe's die. I don't think I had an upgrade in my hand to resolve the special with. And Chase shoots Poe for 3. I then play Field Medic to heal him to 1 damage done. And Chase plays Logistics on his Leia die in order to gain 2 resources. I'm pretty much sitting there. I don't have any good dice to resolve with the battlefield, but at the same time I don't want Chase to be able to claim it back. And I point out that he hadn't moved his dice back. I claim the battlefield, and Chase starts playing some stuff. So he puts a blaster on Leia, and then we end the round. He probably had wanted to get that out earlier, but getting it out now at least nets him a gain of upgrades. You'll see I played no upgrades. I got an It Binds All Things out, which will help reduce the cost of stuff, but is not what I had hoped for on a first turn. I exhausted It Binds All Things and paid 2 in order to put a lightsaber on Rey. The lightsaber is pretty good, as it allows me to get a little bit more consistent damage. I then use the extra action from Rey in order to activate Poe. I get the 3-for-1 side and a resource. So in 2 actions, I can resolve the range damage, but that gives Chase a couple opportunities to do away with my roll and doesn't put any pressure on him this turn. He rolls in his dice. He gets the 2 focus side on eAckbar, the focus side on the survival gear, and a resource. So a pretty good roll, all things considered. I roll Rey, get the special on the lightsaber, which will help because I can get through the shields, and I get +2 modifier resource sides, which I can resolve with Poe to gain 3 resources in one go. Probably will help because I'm hurting on resources. I have pay sides on a lot of my dice, and I'm kind of just sitting there not doing much right now. So Chase trying to figure out what to do. Is he worried about the damage on the lightsaber? Is he worried? What's he worried about right now? I can get a pretty big resource swing, but again, he doesn't have any imminent threats right now, so he decides to just roll in Leia. Gets Leia's 2-for-1 side, which he has 3 resources, so he has plenty to pay for. He has focus. He has another range damage, so I go ahead and just resolve my resources to get 3 resources. I had no way to mess with his dice and avoid taking a big swing back. He ends up resolving 3 of his focus dice in order to switch the Leia dice to the 2 damage sides without having to pay. And then he switches the blaster pistol to the +2 range side. So I'm looking at 6 damage right now, which is a pretty hefty swing, and I have a lightsaber and a Poe 3-for-1. So I'm pretty much guaranteed to take at least 4 of this to the face, and I don't have a way to get rid of any of it, so I just resolved the lightsaber to get a few more damage through, and Chase hits Poe for 6. I have another field medic, so I am able to heal 2 of that, but I'm still sitting at 5 damage. And then Chase plays his own field medic, undoing all of the hard work that I had just done. I then pay 1 to do 3 damage with Poe's dice in order to take Chase back to 3 damage on his character, and he plays another field medic. So when all is said and done, I spent resources, dice, and everything to not do much of anything. Meanwhile, Chase is sitting pretty at a ton of resources, gaining resources, and it's looking like a downhill battle. Or actually, that's stupid. An uphill battle. Why would it be a downhill battle? For my deck. Whereas Chase is just kind of building steam with what he has going on. And I'm just not drawing into any abilities to get Poe and his specials going. I'm not leaving any Poe dice out in order to trigger it with the throne room. It's not looking like a favorable matchup for me right now. I roll in Poe, get a blank and a resource. Chase remembers to take his 2 resources for the turn and rolls in eAckbar, getting another 2 focus times 2 and a 2 shield dice on the survival gear. So no matter what he rolls, he can fix it into something good. I roll a 3 for 1, a +2, and a +2. So I theoretically can do a huge swing of damage right here, which will be fantastic. I could put 7 damage onto either eAckbar or onto Leia. And instead, he plays Daring Escape, making me reroll all of my dice of his choice, and then removing anything that's a blank. So the Poe dice, since he chose not to have it rerolled, is removed automatically. I roll a special on Poe, a special on the lightsaber, a discard, and a +1 resource modifier. And since the Daring Escape has ambush, Chase still has another action here. So he might be able to get rid of the specials. There's no telling what he can do. So instead he plays a hit and run to activate Leia, again having ambush. So he's going to be able to take another action again after this. He rolls 2 blanks, and he rolls a range damage side. But with all the focus he has on eAckbar's dice, the blanks aren't blank, essentially. And since he still has action, another action, I have the threat of a lot of damage again being focused out and shot my way. What would be nice here is if Chase had an all-in in hand, because it would basically mean that he was able to chain enough actions together to resolve all of his dice, has the focus, and it leaves me no window to respond to any of this. It's one of the nice things about this Leia eAckbar deck. It has a lot of action economy in its dice, in its cards, has a lot of ambush. Hopefully, in Spirit of Rebellion, there might be another red card, preferably one with ambush on it, an upgrade, that could potentially replace either Survival Gear or Holdout Blaster. There's a lot of different things that it could do with more red dice in combination with It's a Trap. So Chase plays what looks like an aim, actually is an all-in. He was proxying a few cards. This was just a casual game that we were playing at the store. So I wasn't upset that he was doing that. So you see he switches all of his dice to range damage and obliterates Poe in one shot. So as I was mentioning, that was the combo that he was looking for, was, mess with my dice with ambush, roll on a character with ambush, all in with focus already on the table. So I've lost Poe, and he did pretty much nothing that entire game.
I'm just discarding this one because it's
so you'll see I choose a card to discard from Chase's hand, and it's a trap. He discards a blank card, which is another proxy card. For It's a Trap, it was just to keep it clear what cards were actually in his hand. Again, casual game. I know it's a little confusing on the video when Chase is playing and discarding random cards, but hopefully with a little bit of commentary over it, it clears things up. Chase claims the battlefield. I put out a Mind Probe on Rey and pass. Rey is going to have to try and stare down a fully healthy Leia with 1 shield and an eAckbar that has 3 damage on him. Not a good looking situation for this deck. So Chase plays a Holdout Blaster on eAckbar, gets another action because of ambush, which this deck has all kinds of ambush shenanigans and other tricks. So he rolls the dice in as his second action, and again gets Focus on eAckbar, which is just killer because it fixes all of his dice rolls. I decide to roll in Ray and get a blank, a disrupt, and a resource, which would be nice if it was all damage instead of what it is, but it's not. So Chase activates his Leia, and really doesn't matter what she rolls. Whatever she rolls, it's gonna be good because of the focus. He rolls a 1 damage, a +2 modifier, and a blank. I play Force Misdirection in order to re-roll my dice, trying to get something good here. Instead, I get discard and a melee damage, a special, and a modifier. So, nothing that's helping me. This game, my dice weren't liking me, and the ability of Chase's deck to not care what it rolls at times because of the amount of focus it has is at times overwhelming. So he resolves the 2 focus side on eAckbar to switch the holdout blaster to a +2, one of Leia's sides to a +2, or to a regular 2, I'm sorry, and the other one to another 2 range damage. So all of that focus, I'm looking at 8 damage right now, and I have no shields. I have no way to stop this. He also switched the other dice because he spent 4 of them for focus. I play Deflect to get rid of A damage from Leia, and he comes back and hits me for 6. So not quite as bad as it could have been, but it was still a pretty hefty swing when I basically rolled nothing threatening. I resolved the lightsaber special in order to do 2 more damage to eAckbar, and Chase resolves the 2 shield side on the survival gear to get a little bit more shields on eAckbar, just making him that much harder to kill. I resolved the 2 discard from the Mind Probe, hit a Daring Escape, and a promotion. I'm sure Chase would have liked to have played the promotion in order to draw cards. Instead, he has a Scout in hand still, decides to play that on Leia, and I discard to reroll, trying to get some damage here. Instead, I get a 1 resource side. I do 1 damage to eAckbar to ping a shield away, and I gain another resource. And Chase had already claimed the battlefield, so that ends that round. Again, another round where I fizzled on damage, and Chase was able to just keep pumping in damage after damage onto my character. So we draw back up to 5, gain the resources, and this will probably be the last round of this game just because Ray is 4 health away from death. I have to take out both characters still, which is not looking good. And with the amount of focus and tricks that Chase has, it's not looking promising. Especially when he rolls in and gets 3 damage showing from Leia, a Scout special, and a shield. Just even more stuff to have to worry about. I pay 2 to put a holdout blaster on Ray. I then replace the holdout blaster with a Mind Probe, so that nets me a total of 3 actions, -1 for playing the Mind Probe, but plus the Ray. So I roll the dice in and roll nothing. I could have been a contender if I would have rolled in some good stuff. Instead, I discard a card, re-roll all the dice. I'm hoping to get some kind of damage, special, something in order to chain out some good abilities. I get 2 modifier damage sides, some discard, and a special on Mind Probe, but it gives Chase the opening to just come at me with eAckbar, to be able to discard my dice. There's a lot of different things that he can do. I had tried my best to get some actions in there to do something in order to kill one of his characters. Because if I was able to roll in, get some specials on the mind probes, I could have just taken out eAckbar potentially, since Chase still has, I think, 4 cards in hand right now. Could have loaded up some damage on someone. It wasn't meant to be in that first roll, though. And now Chase has the opening where he could potentially have hit and runs. He could have all kinds of different abilities. He could simply just resolve 3 damage from Leia, putting Rey at 1 health left, which makes it immensely hard for me to dance around enough of that damage to keep her alive. Especially after taking out Poe and not having enough of a health buffer left right now. Chase keeps going back and forth. He's not exactly sure what to do. I know he has a lot of options, and he's trying to figure out if he has a way to just take Rey out now and not have to worry about any of my dice sides, or find a way to ditch as many cards on his turn as is possible to not take damage from Mind Probe. With the deck that Chase is running, he does have a lot of ways, as we saw in the previous turn, to combo ambush actions together. I've played a couple games with him in the past where with the deck he's been able to get 3 or 4 cards out of his hand in a single action. Instead, he plays It's a Trap, targeting my dice to turn his stuff to sides. He targets the modified damage. He turns 0 of his dice to that side. It was mainly to get an ambush action. As I said, he's trying to pitch cards from his hand so that I don't hit him for a large amount with a mind probe. He plays a defensive position, which gets rid of all dice that I have with showing 2 or higher. So he hits 3 of my dice and discards a card from his 2 cards in total from his hand, making the mind probe special not lethal to eAckbar. I resolve it anyways because I might as well do some amount of damage. I think I end up doing 3 damage here. So I'm able to put eAckbar to 8 damage. If he hadn't been able to get rid of 2 cards that would have killed eAckbar, he's able to roll eAckbar in, gets a +2 modified side on the holdout blaster. I think a blank, a shield, and something else. And I concede because he has the range damage showing and can just take out Rey. That was an impressive showing by his deck being able to do 22 points of damage that quickly. On the other hand, my deck rolled poorly. I didn't really get any cards that supported what I was trying to do. And in the end, Chase was able to just steamroll poor Rey and Poe. Little did they know that they were going to get shot to the face by a fish and a princess. And that concludes another one of the Chance Cubes gameplay videos. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoy the Chance Cubes videos and you want to get more from us, please visit us at thechancecube.com. You can also join us and like us on Facebook at The Chance Cube, or you can follow us on Twitter at The Chance Cube. Till next time, everybody, may the Force be with you.